And we're back.
Welcome to No Direction Beyond, your Starfinder news, reviews, and interviews podcast. I'm Alexander Agunas, No Direction's Everyman Gamer, and I'm joined, as always, by the most intrepid Starfinders this side of the galaxy.
Hi, I'm James. I used to write Code Switch.
Hi, I'm Dustin. I write stuff.
Nice. So obviously this week, it is the first week of June, and that means it's been about 2 weeks since the end of Paizocon 2022, and there were Starfinder news and announcements there. And since we are a Starfinder news podcast, when we're not covering catastrophes, then we absolutely need to talk about all of the great new news that's going up. But before we do, let's ask James a quick question. James, what's your favorite part of Drift Crisis? Go.
My favorite part of Drift Crisis is like the book or the event.
Anything.
Okay, my favorite part of the book is the Swarm mini adventure path there, because that is a great compendium of how to get people to run combats and insurgencies correctly, because those always get messed up in adventure paths.
That's very true. I agree with that. Did you have a favorite one that you want to talk about, Dustin?
Oh, I mean, my favorite part's just the idea that everyone could use it in their own way, and there's that air of mystery about it, and it makes all of our Starfinder games feel interconnected.
That's true. I'm gonna stick with summoning Hounds of Tyndalos as my favorite. That's never gonna get old. And there's officially no corner of the galaxy that's safe from player characters, because now a Hound of Tyndalos can come out of that angle. But talking about new hardcovers, I feel like the one thing that everybody always wants whenever we have a big Paizocon is that we all want to hear the new hardcover. And unfortunately, we don't know anything about any new hardcover after the one we already knew about. So the next hardcover was again iterated to be Interstellar Species, which should be a very exciting book.
Yeah, it has some rules for species creation, and it has the evolutionist and other themes and stuff.
Yeah,
and drawbacks, which is cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing. Like, we know this book is coming. We don't know anything about really what's in it. Like, I've seen some art where like there's a picture of like a Vlaka and a Noir and like a couple other aliens like playing poker, and like we know that it's got the new class that was play tested last year, the evolutionist. And what did they tell us anything about drawbacks, or just that they existed? I don't remember learning
just that
anything.
They existed.
Yeah, so like we know that they existed. I guess, like, what do you two think that this book is going to be like?
I think it's going to be full of a bunch of cool species, and I really hope there's a few select ones that I really want to see in it.
I'm hoping it's not going to be this, but I'm expecting it to be Starfinder Advanced Race Guide from First Edition, and I kind of don't want that.
That's what I was thinking.
Right? Okay, so let me clarify. The Advanced Race Guide, to me, is a book that was very problematic, because it tried to make a rule system for building races, and it tried to present it as if like all the races in First Edition were balanced, and like, no. Like, no, they weren't. Like, if you took the balance point as like the power level, like as a feat, like they tried to say that like everything was balanced as like a package, like this package is balanced. But like, if you look at the power level as like, a feat, it gives you a +1 bonus to attack rolls via weapon focus. So this gives you a +1 is about the same. Like, they were all over the place. And like the points where like it's really hard to take an existing rule system that did not have a strategic plan and put a strategic plan in place for it. I could speak on that because I wrote the weapon design system in the Weapon Master's Handbook way back in that player companion, and it was the hardest thing I had ever done. I remember I had to write it over my first Gen Con ever, and there was one night where like I got up out of my room and I sat down in a lobby of a hotel and just like stared at every weapon in the game for 2 hours. It was very difficult. And like at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I had to go run society right afterwards. Yeah, so like I'm hoping that's not what it's going to be. What I would much rather see is I would want to see inner sea races, but with mechanics put in throughout it, if that makes sense. If you've ever seen inner sea races, it's basically like a whole list of like the culture and history of the major player ancestries in the inner sea region in first edition's rule set, of course.
Mhm.
And like that's what I would much rather see. Like tell me about what it means to be a noir. Tell me about what it means to be a dragonkin. Like, cool, give me the information I want to know.
So you
Yeah,
want to see
yeah.
it a bit more like the Lost Omens ancestry book.
Yes.
Yeah, just something that doesn't give the space trope of, hey, you're in space, so your culture is obviously the same all
Yeah.
across.
You know, it's funny, during our pre-show, like when we're all just hanging out and trying to like make sure we solidify what we're going to talk about before we actually go live, James and I were talking, and one of the things we mentioned is like, you know, normally I am of the opinion that like core races get too much attention, or core ancestries in Pathfinder second edition, but like we don't even know if like the Galarian ethnic group survived into the like past the gap. Like, do TNs still exist? I think they do. I vaguely remember one of the Strawberry Machine Cake drummers or something being
Yeah.
labeled as TN. I think they do, but like if they do, we don't know that.
Do they know that? Is it just like everybody that was in Absalom, and they're just like figuring it out as they go?
Or like, are there new ethnic groups that came out in the 3 centuries since like, you know, that Starflight has existed? Because like, you know, the signal went out from Triune and Absalom Station in the 3rd year after the gap, and it's like 322 now. Like that's enough time for some new ethnic groups to like, you know, based on like shared experiences on like remote places. Like that's longer than like the British settlers who came to America had to like make like an American cultural identity. So like what kind of cultural identities exist in this universe? That's what I want. I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get something else, but fingers crossed.
I mean, it does say you get deep dives on 25 of the playable species, so maybe that includes new ones or deep dives on some of the older ones, which would be good. And there is an NPC catalog, which is good.
Okay.
So you can just grab them. It's supposed to, and the product page is about 100 NPCs. And I miss the NPC codex because I'm lazy.
That has been the hardest part about running Teenage Wasteland, my home game that I've been running. Like I have to sit there and I have to make everything by hand, and like it's certainly easier in Starfinder because like the charts are very streamlined, but man, it's still work. I would very much like and I guess you're right. It kind of sounds like a mix of an NPC codex and an advanced race guide, but we'll have to see what we get.
Yeah, I mean, it should be helpful and useful. Whether it's everything that we'd want from this book, but there's more books to come. So I'm not.
Indeed, and I know the other hardcover is one you're very excited about, right?
Yes, and I'm forgetting the other hardcover because my brain is soft.
Oh, it's the one that it's the one that you used to get us all into Starfinder. Remember?
Armory?
Oh, I was thinking the Dead Sons compilation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot that was going to be announced in a compendium hardcover.
Yeah.
Talk about it in the pre-show. Man, my brain is soft.
Well, tell us about before all the thoughts go. Tell us what you think about a Dead Sons getting a compilation.
I think it's a good way to re-experience it. Maybe they'll not likely to change anything because it is just supposed to be a compendium. But giving definitive ways to replay into a game is good because I have the volumes somewhere. And if they were just all in one compendium, that might be a bit easier to deal with. So it's probably more of a thing just to, you know, get more sales of something they did and hopefully in a better form factor.
Definitely.
I love those mini books, like the mini rule books and stuff like that. It seems stupid to buy it twice, but when it's actually usable,
I agree. The other thing I think that's worth considering is like I'm sure you remember because way back in the forever ago in 2017, like do you remember we were at Gen Con and you stood in line for like literally 3 hours to get your copy of that Dead Sons book, right? You remember? And then do you remember that I only got mine because I rolled a nat 20 at the Gen Con prize table for a society play, and I got the last copy in the entire hall that wasn't claimed. So that book, the very first of all Starfinder AP volumes sold out in the first 3 months, and like you actually can't get a hardcover copy of it anywhere now except for when this compilation comes out. So that'll
Yeah.
be good too, I think.
They also said there was going to be additional NPC information, NPC motivations, revised encounters, minor
Okay,
revised.
the revised encounter is going to be very important because, as with every game that ages, its beginning stuff is a little medium in the fights.
Mm-hmm.
I ran it maybe like a year after it came out, and there was enough creep at that point that very few things were actual challenges, unless it was my players hurting themselves.
Listen,
no.
it's not my fault that Robin talked me into walking into a microwave.
Oh, I mean, or when you just like fist fought a dinosaur, or
But
got
I
killed
did
with
so-
worms.
But I did so good fighting the dinosaur, and the worms part was terrible. You remember, like, we were like pretty sure that like if we played the rules right, I would have died.
Yeah, but that's what these games are about, right?
Literally, we had to take a break between book 1 and book 2 because my character had to spend 5 days in a hospital getting dewormed.
Now, did the dinosaur only use his fists?
No.
Oh, then
no,
he cheated. That's no fair. Okay.
No, it's fine. The dinosaur did not make it out of the fight.
Oh no.
That was a fun fight. Also, I only think that fight was fun though because we won by default when I crit him and put the bleeding condition on him. He couldn't do it.
Turns out animals don't have a way to stop the bleeding condition in Starfinder. It's just sad at that point. You're just like, please just go to sleep.
Yeah, it's like just we keep running and it's like, all these fluids, they keep coming out. It's very good. I'm very excited to see this Dead Sons book. I think that it's going to be a good way to get more people into Starfinder. I think that having your first adventure be readily available is important. And adventures is kind of like the theme of this Paizocon for Starfinder, because like, yeah, it definitely had a little bit of soldier in its teeth, James. It was a lot of me, actually. My poor fight boy. But like most of what we learned about at Paizocon this year was adventure content. We've learned we already knew about one of the adventures that was coming out. We got a second one confirmed. We got a hardcover compilation of 3 adventures confirmed, and then we had all of the names of Drift Crashers, the next 3-part adventure path, get announced, and then we also have the 3-part adventure path Drift Hackers after that, making up for our next about not quite 2 years, but essentially 2 years of Starfinder. No, it's about a year of Starfinder because we have a book coming every other month now for the Adventure Path line, and then a standalone adventure on the off months. But what do you guys want to talk about first? We got lots of choices.
Probably Drift Crashers.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a good one because that one is I think that starts at Gen Con. I'm pretty sure that is the new Gen Con release. The first book we've learned is called The Perfect Storm, and it's by No Direction's own Jessica Redicott, which is very good. And now I'd like all of our listeners to know that I sat down and I took the effort of writing a painstaking summary for every single one of these adventures and Adventures Path. And I'm going to read this one for Drift Crashers 1, and I need you all to know that Brian and Param will not approve of my cheeky language here. but my summary, based on what we know about this adventure, is that it's the Starfinders go to hell.
I gotta write a note here so I could bleep that.
Oh no, my producer! How dare you? So basically, what we know is that you're playing an adventuring group of heroes that are in the drift when the drift crash happens, and the drift crash sends you into hell because bad stuff happens. We learned from John Compton on our last episode that one of the consequences of the drift crashing is that it literally just started sputtering material out into the other planes. And in this case, you are the material being sputtered. You are now in hell. Enjoy. But lucky for you, you have a strange device on your starship, some kind of weird artifact that allows your starship to drift jump through the planes rather than just through the drift. And it turns out that there's somebody in hell who really wants that, probably for an infernal invasion of some kind, and so you've got to stop them from invading all the planes with hell's infinite infernal army, or at least that's what it looks like. Don't take me on that back part because we don't actually know if the bad guy is a devil or not yet.
Yeah, it could be an Asura. Ooh.
Yeah, it could be
Asura.
just about anything. Yeah, it is never an Asura. Those I don't even think they got converted to Starfinder yet.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Who
Like,
knows?
but I mean, like, you know, for most of the outsider types, like you have Pathfinder, where every book that comes out, they add like 3 or 4 new ones. And then in Starfinder, they're like, here is one demon. It is this ugly baby that is connected to the internet. Enjoy. Actually, that might be a daemon. I don't remember. But
I hate it anyway.
That's absolutely a monster that exists in Starfinder. And there's another one where it's like, instead of just one ugly baby, it's an entire Overwatch team of ugly babies plugged into the same team comp.
Oh, the stupid rat king of ugly internet connected babies.
Exactly. So that's the first book that we know about. The second one is called Nightmare Scenario, and that one is by Paizo's own Jenny Jerzabski. The Starfinders basically use their device to go to the astral plane, and the description tells us a major spoiler. They apparently get to meet Desna. Which I would love to know the spicy that goes into Starfinders hanging out with Desna, because as far as I know, like they had like there's like a scene in Carrion Crown that involves Desna, but nobody's ever just chilling with Desna in the astral plane. Like that's like going to her house and knocking on her front door and being like, yo, Desna, can we chill?
Well, Jenny did spoil in the Happy Anniversary Starfinder that she and Isabel Lee wrote a big back matter article in that volume about the Church of Desna and apparently magical girls.
Ooh. That should be fun. I mean, you know, not it's, like
I've got very recreator vibes. Hopefully it ends better for your magic girls and the magic girl in that anime.
It never ends well for magical girls.
I've heard
suffer.
Dustin very desperately wants me to watch Madoka, and I've heard
you should. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's science fiction.
Well, but
it is unironically good.
Well, but the problem is that Dustin tells me I have to watch 20 years of magical girls first to understand the tropes that are being subverted.
No. Just watch one episode of Card Captor and you'll be fine.
I've seen Card Captor, Sakura.
Then you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, like, I didn't watch it religiously, but like I saw the concept of she finds monsters and waves her magic staff and puts the guy into the card. And Sailor Moon is technically a magical girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, I've seen Sailor Moon too. There we go. So maybe I will watch Madoka and have my eyes destroyed by whatever terror awaits me in that anime. But before that happens, book 3 of Drift Crashers is called Masters of Space and Time, which is by Ron Lundeen, formerly of both No Direction and Paizo. What we got is a crazy tesseract has appeared, and the Starfinders have to stop Hell from using it to cause a calamity. Which certainly is quite a way to end a level 5 to 6 adventure path.
Are you going to find one of those apocalypse level dropships from the core rulebook or the core monster book? I would love to see that. Just CR20 and you're just like, what am I here?
That's so good. Yeah, no, I'd like to point out to anybody who is listening, because Lava Being in chat just says this plot seems to ask a lot from level 6 and 7 players. And that is very valid. Both of these adventure paths ask a lot of relatively low level Pathfinders, and it's great. So that's the first one. That is Drift Crashers. Dustin, would you like to take us on a magical journey through Drift Hackers?
I will take you on a magical journey through Drift Hackers, certainly. So Drift Hackers will be coming out following Drift Crashers. The first book is A Light in the Dark by Jessica Catalan. And according to these brilliantly written notes I have, Starfinders arrive in Alluvion and have to unite the Trionites to fix the drift.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Alluvion is like, it's actually pretty cool because Alluvion is first introduced in the Dead Suns adventure path. It doesn't feature as a location, but it's got like a back matter article there. And as a result, you have like, oh, hey, guess what? After 4 years, we're finally going to get to use that back matter article.
So more reality.
More Dustin notes. Starfinder is a tabletop role-playing game. Oh, that's so good. Just for those of you who don't know, Jessica Catalan is also a Paizo employee. She works for the Starfinder Society, part of the Organized Play program. So it should be very interesting. We got another Paizo author here on this one.
Oh yes. Our Drift Hackers 2 is going to be called Clockwork Demons, which that's dang exciting for me because I love Clockwork. And this is by Quinn Murphy, who I am 90% sure has done a lot of org play scenarios.
Yeah, and I think he also did one of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path volumes. He has a lot for a guy who's relatively new to the freelancing scene. Quinn has a lot of work under him, and it's a lot of impressive work. So it should be very cool to see what he does. Unfortunately, for the next 2 volumes, we don't have product descriptions of these ones yet. So
I don't know.
Clockwork Demons. I mean,
have we seen Clockwork in Starfinder before? Seems a little retro.
I mean,
there's a type of outsider that uses that as a mechanism, right? Am I tripping?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's like the things that worship Rye. There's some Clockwork stuff.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because Bry is one of the 3 parts of Triune. So like, and you're on Triune's holy city for this one, so makes sense.
And it's a 3-part AP, so I don't know. Maybe each one might focus on a different aspect. I have no idea.
Probably not.
Oh my god, that makes way too much sense. What do you mean it doesn't?
And absolutely nobody, especially here, would know anything about Drift Hackers 3 Into the Dataverse.
No.
I don't know who did that one.
I don't know that last name. It's like a Google's or something.
God, what a bad last name. They should go get it changed.
Alexander Agugas.
Agugas, that's what it is.
Oh, yeah. So this is my first Adventure Path volume. I am writing Drift Hackers 3 Into the Dataverse. Thank you. They're both clapping very quietly for me. I appreciate it. So obviously you're not going to hear me spoil it, but I'm very excited. It's a very Alex adventure. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a very Alex adventure. It was a lot of fun to do. I'm very excited for it to come out. And let me tell you, the hardest thing I've ever done for No Direction was to sit here and do 2 back-to-back Drift Crisis episodes, knowing that I was the person who was writing the conclusion of that book and like everything that would be canon. And I have to sit going like, yeah, wow, I don't know. Like any of these could be the canon ending. Like, what could it be? And then someone point out like, oh, well, they tell you who did it. I'm like, great, yeah, totally. That's absolutely who did it because the book says so. Wasn't me. It's the book. The book says it's the architects, not me.
I don't know. Is there a Dataverse? Do you go into it?
Yes, I will confirm that there is a Dataverse and you go into it. And
oh my god, it's Log Horizon.
Yeah, no, oh my god, listen, you have to understand that like I spammed listen to like Log Horizon and like the Tron movie soundtrack and the Ready Player One movie soundtrack. Like I was in the zone. It was good.
You didn't just play the opening database on a loop, like 10 hours of database?
Wait, there's more than just that on the Log Horizon soundtrack. I thought it was just that one song. God, there's going to be people who aren't weebs listening to us, and they're going to have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's an anime, Log Horizon. It's an isekai. They go into a computer, but the opening song is fire, and it does start with the monotonous database. Database is the opening. That's all it is.
Yes,
it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having everybody hear it and talk about it when it comes out. It's a little bit daunting because traditionally the later books in the APs never sell quite as well, but please, you can buy it just for me. It's good. Just for me. Every sale goes directly to my heart and then Paizo's wallet. So then after that, the other 2 adventures we're getting, like I mentioned, we get like a modules, essentially like the old Pathfinder module line. They go every other week opposite the AP or every other month. Gosh, every other week would be great, but I'm pretty sure Jason Keeley would die. But they get them every other month opposite the other one. And we have the 2 names of the next 2 modules, and they're very exciting. I feel like one of them is going to be right up James's alley. Which one do you like better of these 2, James?
How about Redshift Rally?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought you were going to say to defy the dragon.
No. What? I don't care about dragons. Dragons are...
No, but it's all about getting a mech and fighting a dragon in a mech.
Yeah, but it's a dragon. They're just people, right?
Okay.
Like they just own real estate. It's like fighting like Jeff Bezos, right?
If Kendra, if you are listening, if you write an adventure path for Pathfinder Infinite where I have to put together a mech to fight Jeff Bezos, I will buy it.
Because Redshift Rally is like what is that Pathfinder scenario? The race for the chalice.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
It's so I don't know if it's true, and I wrote this in my notes, but to me it sounds like it's Wacky Racers, but Starfinder around Epsilon.
Yeah, or Around the World in 80 Days. Like it's just a big triathlon when you speed race your way into a competition to help out after unfortunate circumstances.
I have to admit that sounds amazing. I kind of want both of these, and it's funny because like I'd say like of the 4 that we know of, like the 2 we have, the 2 that we're getting, like these 2 are the ones where I'm that meme with like the girl is behind me and I'm turning around and looking like ooh, like over my shoulder looking at to defy the dragon and Redshift Rally, because like these 2 feel like they understand the flavor that I like in Starfinder. One of the things that actually a couple weeks, it might even just been a couple days ago for us, it probably would have been on like the 6th of June or something. They put up a Twitter post on Paizo that was like, what to you makes Starfinder? And I was like, the humor. I was like, Starfinder is at its best when the content is so relatable that it's funny. But it's not like you're making fun of it. It's like, this is amazing and I love it because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like a mirror to what like the world is, and just through an absurdist lens.
Yeah,
exactly. Like how in my very first Starfinder adventure, I stood in line for 6 hours to get a music album.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I was like, oh my god, this is great because I don't have to actually do this in real life. My character suffers.
Or the time the Starfinder runs in, hears there's a bad guy, immediately stabs the bad guy without thinking that bad guy's a nerd, and then you wait for the ambulance to come because you just stabbed a level 1 hacker.
Or man, I love the one with the death hallway.
Yeah.
where it's like it's a hallway and the entire hallway is irradiated and superheated. And it's just so I'm gonna be real, the death hallway gets used so often in Starfinder, it's basically a trope, and every time it comes up I love it equally. Like, do you remember in Dead Sons where they Resident Evil laser you?
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. Or like the time in Dead Sons where the monster tries to pull you into a giant puddle of acid. It's so good. Like, I love it. Just every time that this game can be ridiculous, it's great.
I don't think enough people played the scenario, but the Starfinder Society scenario where you're fighting an basically invulnerable golem, and you're not fighting it because you can't win, and you're just figuring out how to stop it by running around the complex as it takes its 10 feet of movement every round or whatever. Just the look on people's faces when they're like, I'm just going to try it. And then you have to have it do something to help demonstrate that, no, this isn't a fight. This is an escape.
That's so good.
So good.
What about you, Dustin? Which one of these 2 adventures are you most excited about?
Redshift Rally. I love Promare and Redline, so I want...
Is Promare the one with the genius meme that you always use on me?
No, Promare is the most trigger movie you'll ever see. It's very stylized, heavily stylized, goofy. Like,
is it the fire one?
Yeah, Gurren Lagann firefighters.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
Oh, yeah, or am I thinking, what's the race one? Oh, it's Redline then, is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Redline is what I'm thinking of. Is all race cars. Like, heavily stylized trigger race cars. But yes, I mean, you could watch a lot of, different race movies to pump yourself up for Redline, but I like races. I loved the idea when I read that, like, you'll have races over, like, water, over the air, on the ground. I'm like, oh, okay, that's really cool. There's a lot more going to this than just there will be one race sequence and the rest of it will be other stuff. No. There's a lot of racing in this, and I'm liking that.
Yeah, I know you do love races. I'm going to interrupt for 2 things quickly. First one, Milo V3 in chat says there is a third-party 5th edition adventure where you go into the dungeon Azamon and fight the mecha dragon made of gold, Belzebos. I kind of love that, like, non-ironically. I kind of love that non-ironically. The other thing is, remember that we are recording this episode live, so anybody who is watching with us live, you're welcome to throw your questions or your comments out, and we'll definitely pull you in here because we've only been talking for about 30 minutes, and we're on the last thing that was announced at Paizocon for Starfinder already. Like, well, I guess the non-accessory thing, because honorable mention, spell cards are finally coming to Starfinder.
Yeah, I like spell cards. I own a deck, and they were very helpful
I do too.
The spells.
So like Pathfinder Second Edition has a deck of cards called the Deck of Endless NPCs that Dustin did a show on recently. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why we don't have this for Starfinder. There's like 1 billion species in Starfinder. Just and you could just keep making expansions. Like, you could do it. Like, just print them out forever.
Yeah.
Or like, gosh, it'll be even better. Like, we know that canonically Marikoi have 7 genders, and all 7 of them are needed to reproduce. So then you could just like with the current system in the deck, the NPC deck, there's like 2 members of every gender for every species. So that's 14 cards right there. All of them are these bug-eyed monkey guys. It's great.
Oh, I love it.
Listen, the money just prints itself, Eric Mona. Do it. So the last thing that was announced is Starfinder Society Season 4, Year of Redemption's Rise. We had an episode on that where we had a special, and we brought on Linda Zayas Palmer, and we brought on Jessica Catalan, and we learned a little bit about it there. We know the society has indirectly caused some major problems, and now there's a group of people. The term I use is Luddites, which is a real word term, but it's basically people who don't like technology and want to see a technological regression. And they want to reduce the Pack World's reliance on technology, presumably because the Starfinders had something to do with Data Scourge, but we won't really know more about that until that scenario drops in a couple months, weeks, something like that. Right? Doesn't that scenario come out in July? At Origins?
I thought that was played at Paizo. Aren't they played at Paizo? Oh, it is Origins now, right?
Yeah. I think it's I think okay. Starfinder is Origins and Paizo is Gen Con usually. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, someone in chat tell me that they've already announced who the bad guy is. Yeah. Oh, we do know John Godek, No Direction's own digital diviner, is in chat and telling us that we know who caused it. So the person in that scenario caused it. Which I think is the ending cap of season 4, right? Because this new season is season 5, Year of Redemption's Rise. My bad. And we know that, and we also know that Organized Play has given everybody 80 free achievement points for both games to buy characters. So if you want to go make something weird, you now have 80 free achievement points to do it with.
Yeah, so happy about that.
And I think they unlocked a whole bunch of additional species, right? Like they made them always, because like every year they add more species to the always available list for Starfinder too. And I think they added like dragon. Yeah, they added Dragonkin. They added I think that they're not called Triaxians, they're called Riforians. There we go. And a couple other like common Pack Worlds ones. Which is good, you know. There's a couple rules, like if you're playing a Dragonkin, you have to write on your boon sheet that you get from achievement points who your partner bond is, and you cannot change it unless that character is permanently killed, which is interesting. You know, it's neat. I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. John says they added the trucks. They don't even have like a canonical homeworld yet, though, right?
Yeah, they do. It's Lavaria. The moon's really? Lavaria, right? I think.
Oh.
Yeah, they come from like satellite moons.
Okay, cool. That's fine then. More Pack World species makes sense. I think that 80 free achievement points is nice, but I still don't think that it solves the core issue of it still being kind of gatekeepery, especially behind content. And I still don't think the problem solves the issue of achievement points being the primary way you bring your character back to life, especially in Starfinder, where the JRPG nature of armor and weapons means that you don't really have money to spend on resurrection ever. So like you basically need to use the achievement points to come back to life. So I think it's a good start. I think that more should be done and needs to be done. And I still think that the way that the points are allocated makes the system feel like a kind of attempt to funnel players into GMing, which I'm going to be honest, I have met players that I played with that I really do not like to GM under. And I think that that's okay to not have to push that hard, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think every lodge in every area is different, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, was there any dumb things that you could add to a character? Because I just have like a 15th level envoy just sitting around with 80 points. Can I get like more spaceships or another bus or something?
Probably.
I just want something stupid, or I'm just gonna make a character that just runs in and kills itself.
You'll spend 80 achievement points to make a character of like a really cool species and just have them run in and kill themselves.
Yeah, they'll hold like necklaces of force or something like that, or a translocator disc and just explode on things. Because that's hilarious to me.
You're like, wow, look, I'm this rare Vlaka from Parts Unknown. Watch me turn in from a good boy into a dead boy.
Yeah. Oh, we're having trouble. All right, just scoop me up so we can go back.
Oh no. You just go play in every scenario where there's a chance to lose a limb.
Basically, if you just let me make a character that is completely messed up, I'm going to do it.
Listen, I played enough adventures with you to know that that's absolutely true. I haven't forgotten Cheatham or Serendipa.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So that's kind of all we know about. From there, the future is a witch warper of endless possibility. Oh, you're trying to stop me, Dustin.
Yeah, what about Drift Crisis Case Files?
Case Files! I forgot about Case Files.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you take it since you reminded me?
Case Files by Dave Nelson, Emily Parks, and Andrew White. There are 3 adventures set at level 3, 7, and 10 in one book. They are different adventures in which player characters play as private detectives for the galaxy-wide Eyes Wide Agency, and it's up to the PCs to get the bottom of 3 mysteries that were made all the more mysterious thanks to all the complications from the Drift Crisis. And it will be coming out in March 2023.
Very cool. I like that. I think that it reminds me of Mysteries of Candlelight Keep. It's a Dungeons and Dragons book where they have a whole bunch of like little adventures into one big thing that are all kind of like themed around being stories kept in a library, and it's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that, James. Definitely. I have my Skittermander Solarian in that arc. I do that too. He's such a good Skittermander. He just wants to explode with Saren Ray's love on everybody.
Starfinder Seeker arc or Riot.
Well, if you do like Skittermanders in the Drift Crisis, there's also a free RPG Day adventure coming out later this month, which is all about what's happening to the Skittermander pre-gens during the Drift Crisis.
Skitter Warp.
Yes.
Good stuff. I like the warp everything. And then, now that I'm actually looking at your notes and not just my notes, I could also see that they have announced that there are Starfinder Alien Archive Bestiary cards.
Yeah.
There's the first set is Alien Archives 1 and 2 combined, and the second one is 3 and 4. So together that will be all of them. Very exciting. We're also getting pocket editions of Alien Archives 1 and 2, Armory, and Pack Worlds coming out through the months of June to September. Very cool. And I think that officially is all of it, right? There we go. We did it all this time. I'm not jumping.
That was everything that was announced. Yeah.
Cool. So why don't we take a minute then, and of this list, what has each of you the most excited? Mine is cheating. Obviously, mine is my Adventure Path volume. So like, we don't need to talk about me anymore because I can't say anything.
Yeah, that is a huge cheat.
It's super cheat. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I kind of want to look at that Adventure Path because I just want to make fun of you.
I mean, listen, they'll give me a free copy of it. I'll give you a free copy of it, and you can make fun of me for free. It's fine.
For me, it's probably spell cards because that's the thing I'll get the most use out of besides a hardcover.
Well, listen, you gotta play a precog.
Yeah, I can't like guarantee that I can get a run any new games at the time being. So something that helps me learn all these new spells that keep getting printed. While I just refuse to pay spellcasters,
Oh my gosh, listen, like the new spells in Galactic Magic are amazing. There's one called Usurp Magic, where if someone casts a spell, you can basically force them to change all the targets to whatever you want if you pass like a dispel. It's great. I've used it on Dustin several times. It's so funny.
That's amazing.
So
I
funny.
love making wizards upset. That's my favorite pastime in these games.
We don't get anything.
Too bad.
There's like 5 spells specifically for making casters upset. There's Suppression Field, there's Dampen Magic, there's Usurp Spell, there's Magic Seal and Greater Magic Seal. It's so good. It's so good.
I don't see the casters getting EMP spells.
Well, yeah, because they'd be cool if they did. No, you're just going to suffer. That's what you do. Sometimes you do great things, but most of the time, you're just to suffer.
Or heal.
Yeah, pick up a rifle and get in there.
Listen, you want an EMP spell? Go and buy a couple EMP grenades and just hit armor class 5. You can do it.
Yeah, I tried, but then you read them and you have to do a counteract check against every device they're holding, and I'm like, I don't want to spend 15 minutes rolling a d20 that many times.
That's fair. Sometimes complication is the greatest balancing factor.
Oh yeah, also the Humble Bundle that's going on, the Starfinder Humble Bundle.
Oh
The
yeah,
Starfinder Humble Bundle.
Starfinder Humble Bundle, that is linked in chat, and yeah, that's a great way to get a physical copy of the Armory for a great price, plus all the other books that come with the bundle, all the other PDFs that
It's
come
a
with the
lot.
bundle. Yeah,
It does say $426 value, and I feel like that's just a missed opportunity, but I understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Sometimes telling people how much they save is a good thing. You should.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if only they save $6 less, but it's what it is.
So, which one of these is your favorite, Dustin? What are you most excited
I
about?
mean, Into the Dataverse is what I'm most excited about, but you said that's cheating, so I'm gonna have to pull back to Light in the Dark, actually, because like I want to learn more about Space Desna, and I like Maho Shoujo. I like magical girls, so I want to.
Oh,
learn
that
about
one's Nightmare Scenario, not Light in the Dark.
Oh,
Make
it
sure you
is?
buy the book. Yeah, Nightmare Scenario is
Oh, it
magical
is.
girls. and
I'm
space
sorry.
danger.
I was scrolling here wrong. I saw Light in the Dark and instantly thought of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No.
That's fair.
Nightmare Scenario by Jenny Jerzowski. Yeah.
I think if I had to pick one that wasn't my own adventure path volume, I would have to pick Redshift Rally for mine. If only there are two reasons. One, wacky speed racers in Starfinder, and I'm going to tell you, even if there's no wacky speed racers in this adventure, every time I run them, they will all be wackified. Every single one of them. That very nice Yosoki driver who's trying his best, he now has a cheesemobile. That great noir engineer who knows everything, he presses a button and horns come out and he starts, trying to ram people off the road. Like, the possibilities are endless in a universe like Starfinder's. And also,
that's not an endless possibility. My college had Banana Day, and a giant banana car would just drive around and give out banana T-shirts.
It didn't give out actual bananas.
No, they did, but they also give out T-shirts, and everybody wanted a T-shirt because it's free clothes.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's true. The other reason I'm really excited for Redshift Rally is that as much as I am more excited about Redshift and Defy the Dragon than I was about Junker's Delight or Liberation of Locust One, both of those two adventure volumes had incredibly good player content. Junker's Delight has the Junkomancer archetype, and which is super fun. And the other one is the one that has the healing guns, the guns where you shoot people and it heals them. Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest. I would never allow those at my table. They are not well balanced, but they're really funny, and sometimes it's funny that counts more than anything.
Wait, I missed those. I had a gun that did the shield.
Yeah, they heal. Alex and I talked about it for like an hour when we first saw them.
There's now healing guns too, shield and healing guns. Oh my god!
So the thing is with the healing guns is that they need special batteries that aren't like standard batteries, and when they use a battery, that battery is burned out forever. They can't be recharged.
That's like no money.
Yeah, it's just money, but it's basically like it's like getting a gun with spell throwing on it and just quick loading healing serums or Mystic Cures and just shooting people for healing. It's so good.
So you can full attack with a shield gun and a heal gun just to like prop people up.
And do you know what it also means? It means that you can officially make Ana.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So if anybody hasn't learned this before, I played a pacifist envoy for 16 levels. I don't think I actually shot anything in anger, only using the non-lethal options.
No, listen. James is underselling this character because there was one point where we go into an adventure and like there's a big magnet thing that disarms you of all like your gear and stuff. And James goes in there and he gets disarmed of all of his gear, but all it can take from him is a level 1 automatic pistol that he's had for 12 levels at that point. And
still in the box.
And you can just see our GM like looks up and says, "Really? That's what I get from you?" And James is like, "Here's my character sheet," and like the look of disapproval. I'm pretty sure it was Barnett who was GMing, and the look of disapproval on his face was amazing.
I had helpful tools. I had fire extinguishers. I had stuff to make people survive and talk.
It's good. It was good.
It's good.
Very good. All right. So we've talked about all the cool Starfinder stuff that's coming out. All the Paizo announcements have been talked about. We talked about the new year of Society play, all the accessories. We talked about the fact that I'm apparently an Adventure Path author now.
Yeah.
I think we hit everything. Are we missing anything that we should have talked about?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think we got it all. So I guess final thoughts and impressions of this this wonderful announcement period of Paizocon. Let's start with Dustin this time, and then I'll go, and James, you can have the final say.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what species end up in Interstellar Species. I'm super excited. So many fellow No Direction colleagues got AP volumes, and I kind of want to. I've been considering since watching the stream. I don't have the time for it, but I wish I had the time to play some Starfinder Society because the previous season looks really fun, and watching them directly tied to the next season looks really exciting too.
Neat. For me, my final thoughts are that I'm excited. There's a lot of cool things coming. Honestly, if there is anything that y'all holding back, I think you should have announced it personally. I feel like as cool as the list we had it is, we don't really have like a big, like, aha, the big cool thing is coming. It's like we've got Interstellar Species and we don't really know anything about it, and we don't really know how to hype it. So it was fine. I think that we've had better years with more exciting things to talk about after Paizocon. Hopefully there's a big announcement that somebody has up their sleeve that they're ready to slap out at Gen Con and get us our hype meters exploded to infinity and beyond.
Wow. Buzz Lightyear quote.
I know. Listen, they just brought that movie back. Like, it's fine. Yeah, so it's not Toy Story. There's like a movie called Buzz Lightyear, and then like in canon, it's the movie that Andy saw that made him like want the toy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, from this Paizocon, it's a lot, for me at least, a lot of quality of life books and releases.
Yeah.
And I like anything that makes my life a bit easier. Especially at the table, it's easier to pick up a book than it is to look stuff up online. It is a little bit weird having a lot of your keystone items be based off of a book that's already released to give them both value. I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. And while, yeah, they've had better years, we've had worse years.
God, we have had worse years.
Yeah, like regardless of like what the overarching releases are, in general, there's enough in them that even if you're not interested in that specific item, there's stuff in it that help you do what you want in other games or areas. So I'm always optimistic about Starfinder because it keeps on giving.
It does. I agree, and I've right now, like, I'm not blown away, but like I got my fingers crossed. Like I'm hoping in my heart of hearts that that Interstellar Species is something that's going to knock my socks off, because I really want you guys to knock my socks off. I really do. I love telling you guys how great you are, like we did with Drift Crisis. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's probably it for our show tonight. Do we have any shout outs that we want to do?
No, I'm good.
Let me think. I don't think anything big got announced about the did we John, I think, is in chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna like give a quick shout out. John Goddick with the network is kind of like he's like the master of ceremonies of kind of like our sister show. They do digital divinations, so like it's a Starfinder focused show that talks about like different things that are going on and gives like suggestions and tips about what is going on with Starfinder and how you can make your Starfinder game better. Definitely worth listening to if you are, around and you got the time. And the reason that I bring it up is that for that show, we lost Ron Lundeen, right? He's not going to be available with the network anymore. So they have a brand new co-host, and I'm very excited because I love Jason Keeley. He's the best, and I think he's going to bring a lot to John, and their energy is going to be good. John is in chat telling us that they just recorded their first new show with him, and should be good.
Oh, Pog.
Well, if I have a shout out, I guess it would be that Aaron Shanks tweeted about a week ago that there will be a Starfinder Infinite celebration August 15th to the 28th. So, not sure of any other details other than that.
Cool. Anything you want to shout out to, James?
No.
That's cool. No problem. For any of you who are watching us live, Justin and I are going to go hang out in the private sanctum for a little bit. If you're one of our patrons, remember you can go on our Patreon. You can go to nodirectionpodcast.com and find our Patreon and our Discord. That your patron is how we literally keep the lights on at the network. We could not do anywhere near the amount of coverage that we do without your help. So every little bit is very much appreciated. And then our Discord is like the chillest place on the internet to talk about Starfinder and Pathfinder. We are very well modulated. We have a really cool group of people who talks about really fun and interesting things. And we also have all the scoops all the time. So please pop on over, say hi, join us. And until next time, go beyond with no direction.